I have my whole life is full of little hacks like that.
Yeah.
Like
How's the
wherever I go, if there's something that has to go with me, my keys go with that thing. So like if
Oh,
I'm at
okay.
lunch at work and I bring home leftovers and it goes in the fridge, like in the back, I'll put my keys on top of the fridge or
To
just
make you
little,
go there. That's a good idea.
yeah.
Great life hack.
Yeah. I'm big, big, big ADD. And so I've had to learn to live with it because I'm not going to medicate because that's stupid and it's terrible for your brain. And ADD is kind of a superpower if you know how to use it. But I had to like learn the kind of little hacks like that.
Yeah. So prior to doing that, you were losing stuff all the time or forgetting it or whatever, not losing it, but forgetting stuff?
No, I've done little things like this since I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, nice hack. Just like me,
Thank you.
just like me using different eyes for different things.
That's it. Good job. Seeing all three of me at once, huh?
I do. I don't know if we've ever talked about it, but I do use one eye for up close and the other eye for far away.
No, I don't think we've talked about that. You do that too?
Yeah,
But your eyes are straight.
not really.
Okay.
They're a little bit, especially when I'm like, if I look a certain way, I can't activate it like Joe can. I relate to Joe a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah. I knew Alex and I had a bond.
Charlize had this TikTok or whatever, and it showed you how to make your eyes go apart. And I don't remember what it was, but it works. It was weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you like follow the eye or something, and I don't remember, but it was
Huh.
fun.
I don't think I could do it on command.
Nah. Well, neither did I.
Yeah. True. All right.
Um,
So when did you get home?
I got home. Today's Thursday, so I got home Wednesday morning at 6 a.m.
Oh my gosh. Did you try to go right into
No,
work and to start
no,
having a
definitely
day to
no. There's no such thing.
you went to bed?
Uh, I went. I left my luggage in my front driveway while waiting for my dad to come pick up, and I went immediately to my garden.
Oh, all right.
And I have some full blown cucumbers now, like uh, two, three of them, two ready to harvest. One maybe needs another day. It might be ready today, but and then went straight to bed, uh, and then I got up. I had to set an alarm, and it was hard to get up at like 4. I think I got up at 4 because I needed.
PM?
Yeah, Sasha was coming over um, at 7:30. There was work actual work I needed to do in the garden, and my house, as you can imagine, was a fucking disaster because I went High Point straight to China. So my room's a disaster, the kitchen's a disaster, the bar's a disaster. So I had to clean, unpack, wash my ass, and all the things. Um, so she came over, I guess around 8, and then that was it. And then interestingly enough, I had no problem going to sleep again at 1 or whatever.
So you're back on US
Yeah, I'm on
schedule.
track. And it was easier than normal. Normally coming back is harder. But hats off to Molly because we came back business class / first class. Like the international it's called Polaris or something. It's like a business class thing.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
That surely that was not your first time
There's
flying
no
business
going back.
class.
It was my first time on international. So I've
Really?
been first class a lot domestic, and there's nothing special. If you're fat, fly first class. Don't spill into my seat. Get a wall between us and a fatter seat. But there's nothing special about first class. It's a little wider seat. You get a pre-flight drink that you have to rush and drink. But international is something else. So you're like in this like cubby, and you've got 3 walls around you, and then Jonathan's next to me, but there's like a partition we can slide up or down. It's got like a lazy boy thing for your legs to go up, and it's got a hole in the seat so you can stretch all the way out, and you can lay 100-degree flat.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of different lights, and of course the food and the service, and it was very nice. Like, I got 8 hours of sleep. Like, I woke up and we had 5 hours left.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 questions regarding this. One is, how did you get in first class? Did you pay for it? Or did you use points, or did you just get lucky or whatever? But before that, I want to address this lazy boy comment that you just made.
Well, that was nice because we were able to pick the best sellers and things like that. What you found was,
Bitch, I can see you falling asleep while I'm telling my
I'm
story.
not falling asleep. Look, just try it.
So you referenced the chair and the footrests coming up as a lazy boy.
Right.
So why did you use that phrase? Why did you say lazy boy?
Because I think of the word lazy boy before I do recliner, because from all of our previous podcasts, when we talked about mindshare, they have dominated the mindshare in the recliner business.
And so that's just like, even though you're
from a consumer standpoint, not a furniture guy standpoint.
Right. But you're in the business, you know that that's called a recliner. You know that your chair reclined, but you just defaulted without any prompting, you defaulted to use the word lazy boy.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, and you're young, so it's not, the reason that, the reason I think that that's so interesting is because, not just because of the mindshare part of it, but we talk about that a lot when people are looking for recliners, and how many people use the word lazy boy who aren't just looking for the lazy boy brand. They're looking for a recliner, but that's just what's in their mind, the way Kleenex is in your mind when you want a tissue.
Or people still use the word Xerox, or I want a Coke when they want any kind of soda. That is a dominant mind share. That is the goal.
Yeah.
To create that I guess synonym for the actual product using your brand. Your brand is the synonym for that product or product category.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
Jesus fucking Christ. You distracted me earlier. I was turning off all the alarms. It's today Monday. Today is 8 p.m.
Thursday.
Turn that off. Okay, we're good.
Far from Monday.
Hey man, I'm still getting situated.
Yeah. But that is really interesting to me. And like in my world where we're deciding what phrases to bid on, that comes up often because a
Lazy boy.
store, yeah, lazy boy comes up because a store might not carry lazy boy brand of merchandise.
But the consumer's looking for a recliner.
The consumer,
but you have to add that verbiage in your AdWords set to get that customer. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we have to try to decide, like, based on the context of the search, what was the person looking for? Were they looking for the brand Lazy Boy, or were they looking for the generic recliner? And so we spend a lot of time looking at what the person actually typed into the search bar to determine the context of their search.
Do you find people are actually looking for Lazy Boy? Like, consumer is actually looking for the brand?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. I did not expect that. I'm curious to know what gives you that impression from those searches.
I can tell you exactly. And they are one of the few brands that people still search for by name. There's only a handful of them that people know the brand name of anymore. But the reason that I know that some people are doing it, there's a couple of reasons. One of them is they use Lazy Boy spelled the way Lazy Boy, the brand, spells their name. So they didn't spell it Lazy space BOY. It was LA space Z space boy. So that's one giveaway. But The other is that they're not looking for a recliner. So Lazy Boy, the company, also sells tables and other stuff. So that is an
Lazy boy
indication.
table.
Right.
You
right.
know, to me, that sounds like somebody in the industry. That sounds like a retailer, not a consumer.
Yeah, it could be, but it happens a lot and it happens all over the country.
Well, I mean,
So-
they are still a force to be reckoned with in the B2B world and have quite a brand name. Well, whatever. Yeah, I get it. I think both those areas doesn't necessarily mean they're looking to buy a Lazy Boy recliner today or that it's a consumer. I think even the spelling of it, right, just means that they did such a great job. I don't know. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Well, and like there's other indicators of that they're looking for the brand and not necessarily the
Mhm.
item, just I can't think of them on the
Good.
fly. You're tired of talking about this already.
No, but that is interesting.
Yeah. It's a thing. And so I'm sorry, the other question I asked you was, well, let's go back. And so in case Alex wants to start this around this point, you just came back from China.
Well, he's probably going to use the last 15 minutes of us bullshitting. And that's why we hit the record button. And I think we did this with David, where we just started talking and then later and it did the introductions because it's kind of a nice segue. And so I think that's kind of the norm now.
All right. Well, then why don't you do the introductions and then we'll go back to my question and why I asked it.
Okay. I don't remember your question, but hey, everybody, welcome to Two Homeboys. I'm your host, Gabriel, with Classy Art, and my co-host, Joe Walter, with Tango Multimedia.
Welcome, everybody. Nice to see you. That was stupid. We don't see anybody. Thanks for stopping by. Wow. All right.
That's 100% going in.
Okay. So you just got back from China.
I
That's
did.
interesting.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want to ask about, well, I want to hear all about the trip, but you flew business class on your way back. And how did you get business class? Did you just pay for it?
Price
Upgrade with
increases.
Everybody get ready. The letter's coming out this week.
No, we rarely pay for flights. So we, Jonathan, for you guys out there, is my brother, CFO, business partner, etc., best friend. The list goes on and on. He is like the points guru. He has different credit cards for different shit to maximize each of the reward systems from various banks and creditors. So we finance our entire company on credit card, or we don't finance the company, but every vendor bill gets paid with credit card. Those that don't apply that 3% or whatever processing fee. Some of them, it's still worth it to pay the fee. Like, so for example, we may get 5x the points for freight and the freight may charge us 3%. Well, that's worth it. We're doing better on the points.
Right.
So he's got it all broken down, but no,
you should
we
have Jonathan on an episode and have him go through all of the different cards you should get and
that's
what
a
the
great
points
idea.
are.
Yeah. That would be a good idea. But yeah, no, we booked it with points and he asked, what do you think? This is the difference in cost. And so, he and I come from humble beginnings, right? And so when we go on vacation, of course we can afford first class. We have endless points that we can never use in a lifetime. But there's something about it is like I can go here twice for the same price. Like I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So he decided to do it on the return flight. So we went economy or coach or whatever it is, headed out, but we came back business class and first class.
Which I think is a great idea because you've had a grueling week out there
Mhm.
and you have to end it by sitting down for 13 hours or whatever
Right.
the flight is. And so it's a nice treat to yourself
It
to
was.
try to come back a little bit refreshed because you have to hit the ground running.
Yeah. So
And
that was nice.
you didn't get a break. You went almost straight from High Point Market to China.
Essentially. I mean, we were home for I think 4 days, but that goes really quick, right? So you're decompressing from High Point, you're unpacking, taking everything to the cleaners, you're lots of catch up emails, catch up gardening, like catch up on everything. I put that shit on everything. So yeah, so we turned around. I think we got home like on a Thursday and we turned around and left out on Monday. Something like that. So it was a challenge, catching up with my daughter, right? Spending time with her and my friends and all that stuff to gone again.
Yeah. Well,
But
and Jonathan's married and he has a toddler at
Mhm.
home, so he's got to give them some time too.
For
Wants to see
sure.
them.
And so one of the thing what we did this time was we let him leave High Point earlier. So he came back a few days before us so that he can spend that extra time with the family before leaving again.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That was good. And so the purpose of this trip was, well, when was the last time you went and what was the purpose of this trip?
Well, there were many purposes. The last time we went, I can't remember.
Pre-COVID?
Pre-COVID. Oh yeah. And
So
it
so
may
it
have
was
been a
you.
year or two before that.
Oh,
It, I don't know if 2018, 2019, but it's been a hot minute. We're well overdue. And over there, they're always like, you need to come to the factory, come visit, come to the show, whatever, whatever. And like we do everything by email and calls and WeChat messages and samples. And it's like we don't have to go. I mean, it's worthwhile to go. And this trip kind of reinstilled that we need to get back on a schedule. So in the past, we were going every 2 years. Not like a schedule, but it just defaulted. And so the factories I was like, you need to come see us. And I said, you don't want to see me? Like if I'm in China, there's a problem. Like I don't want to have to go over there, but I'll go to replace, a vendor.
well, but we
Um,
also talked about the importance of going to market. And I would think that going to China falls into the same category, you
it
know?
does. It does. And more than just finding new wall decor and new wall decor vendors, like their show covers lots of industries. And it's really interesting to see new technologies and just there's so much to see this show. And maybe we can stitch in some of the video I took just to kind of show the size of it. But like High Point being an entire downtown of a city is a joke when it comes to the size of this show. And they have
Wow.
4 phases. I think it's 5 buildings. I want to say it's 5 buildings, the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen. But then, so in phase one, it's like this week, and it's these 30 industries or 20 industries, however many, and then they all tear down. And then the next week is phase two, and it's 20 different industries, and then phase three, phase four. It's intense. It's a lot,
And
but it's really cool.
while you're there, do you see other American uh, manufacturers there buying also? Did you run into other?
Yeah, yeah. This one was a little interesting. All of our vendor partners and prospective vendor partners were a little bit upset because there were no American customers there. Of course, I'm like, what am I, top liver over here? But no, I don't know why. We just weren't well represented this market over there, which is great. I'll bring all the new styles in myself. That'll be great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, But yeah, I mean, you see people from all over the world. So, uh, yeah, I mean, essentially the exhibitors are Chinese and the buyers are from everywhere the fuck else, you
And
know?
did they set up networking type things for you to engage with buyers from
No,
Europe or Africa or
no, no,
anywhere else?
no. If there is something, we don't know about it, but it's not like here. It's just you go to the show, you leave the show. Same with the exhibitors. There's not like a lot of whining and dining and all that stuff.
All right.
Now, after the show, Of course, the factories do want to wine and dine you. They really want to, but they're busy at that show. And so we've never really asked, hey, do you want to go out tonight or something? Like, but we've never been invited for an evening during the show. Like, we'll go to dinner with other friends that we know are in town or, whatever like that, but not with the factory. After the show, it's all lunches, dinners, lunches, dinners, lunches, dinners with the factories.
And so when the show ends, do you go tour the actual factories?
Yeah, we cut it really short this time. We went to 3 factories after the show and then gave ourselves a day to relax and chill in Hong Kong. But seeing the process, because when you're at the show, it's a very expensive show. And so they have relatively small footprints. And it's fascinating because there's 2 shows actually. So there's the Canton Fair, which is the main show, the massive that I'll send the video. And then there's the Jinhan Fair, which also has several different industries, but they're all kind of around decor. Not wall decor, but decor in general. So lamps, seasonal, gift decor, like just all kinds of stuff. So what some factories, like the larger factories will do, they'll have a decent size footprint at the main one. And then when you go to Jinhan, they have like a massive booth. And these booths, you can't imagine, like, so they're inside of a building. And I'm talking about in the cheaper show, right? It's
Mhm.
inside this massive building, and their booths are literally made of real walls, like sheetrocked in walls. There's like there's 2 stories, there's stairs, and like they're elaborate. Like, and they're not permanent. They put them up every time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's intense.
Do you have did you take pictures or do you have video of any of that?
I'll have to go back and see. It's frowned upon to take any pictures or videos and whatnot. It's more than frowned upon. They will shut you the fuck down.
Yeah.
Which actually I felt bad several times because we've hired a new product development person and she wasn't able to make it with us. So she is setting me up with some of the factories that she used to work with, and I'm showing her the current factories we work with so we can understand the styles and stuff. And I'm FaceTiming in every booth, right? And with permission, obviously, right? Like I
Yeah.
would never do that. And they're like, yeah, of course. And so I'm showing Sherry and we're on video and this and that. And like multiple times somebody walks through and the salesperson walking with us is like telling somebody else, hey, no pictures, no pictures, while I'm videoing the whole place.
Uh,
And I just felt so bad, you know.
and does everybody speak English?
Um for the most part, there are degrees of English at the show. Like our vendors always have somebody that speaks English. Some are better than others, though. We typically take he's more of a friend. I feel bad calling him an interpreter, but he's there to get us around and do the things and translate if we need. But he's our QC guy, Ken Chen. Dude's fucking awesome. He's so much more than a QC. He's become family to us. We met him on our very first trip to China. He was not in our industry, and anyways, he does so much for us. A huge amount of gratitude towards that man.
Yeah. And he lives there.
Yeah, he lives. Yeah.
Does he ever come here?
But he does a bunch of business here. So like if you go on Amazon and are shopping for a range hood for your house, he not only he started as QC in that business, he now owns a factory making them himself with like 80 employees, and he's got a bunch of other businesses. So he's what they call in Chinese a big boss.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But he still took the time out to come be with us for the duration. Like, just it's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. And when you're there, are they quoting you prices in US dollars or?
Yeah. they'll quote in US dollars, and you're not like, and I don't know how everybody operates, but I don't ask prices on everything. Like, I'm gonna pick out a few pieces, some that I can tell have like low amount of works and materials and efforts, and then what looks to be probably their high end. So I get a good gauge from them. Like my current factories, I don't ask prices. Just this, because they're gonna send you a quotation at the end of it.
Yeah, you're not actually ordering anything there anyways, right?
Right, right.
And are they showing stuff that is not ready? Like when you go to the High Point Market, you see a mix of things that are so new that they're not ready yet. You know, they might be 6 months down the road before they're actually ready for somebody to
Well, yeah,
order.
the difference between US and China, nothing is ever ready. Everything is made to order over there. So it's not like they're stocking their warehouses.
Everything you see is a spec and may or may not make the manufacturing cut if they don't have enough people to or enough orders.
No. Everything's spec, and it will only make the manufacturing if I or some competitor or some other customer buys it.
And
Remember, they can make anything.
Right. And there's a minimum order quantity. So you can't just say, I want 10 of these. You may have to say, I want 1,000 of them before they will.
Right. Mhm.
Gotcha. And everything, just for the audience sake, let's clarify that everything that Classy Art sells is not imported from China. You also have a factory
That's
in
correct.
Houston. So
in fact, I would say 90% of our SKUs are made in America.
And is there any part of that that comes from somewhere else? Like, are you getting the wood for the frames or the glass or the backing or the
No,
anything that
pretty much 100% domestic item. Now, it's all of our framed goods, our framed prints. So all of our framed prints are available to upgrade to a mirrored frame. That mirrored frame is made in China, but the frame, the molding that we make a frame is made in, I forget what state, but it's all domestic. Every piece of it is domestic. Once in a while, we'll buy a container or two of glass, just like filler to just kind of, get a little thicker margin for that period. But it's worth the lowered margin to have the flow of glass, just truckloads at a time. It's a week lead time. Makes life a whole lot easier.
Yeah. And you're not having to store a whole container of glass somewhere.
I mean, it's same. We're getting a truckload.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't matter.
How often does the glass break?
In transit to us or in transit to the customer?
I meant like just in handling around the warehouse, or around the manufacturing.
Once a month, maybe. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been in production, but it's very infrequently. So we have these specialized carts that we make. So the glass is stacked by size, vertically like this, and that cart is aligned with carpet, and it is on casters. So it doesn't really get handled all that much. It goes from the cart straight to the frame. Well, it goes from the cart to the cleaning to the frame.
And so you have to clean everything, both sides, before you put it together.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets done before it gets framed or after it's kind of almost done?
That happens right before it's about to get framed. So it's already at the assembly table when we clean the glass. And there is what's called wash and paper pack. And I think that's the standard for our industry. And we use it too, but it's just not clean enough for us.
And that would mean it would come in like pre-washed?
Pre-washed, and then there's a piece of paper between each piece of glass.
And that's supposed to be enough to
supposed to be, but it's not. Like when you put it against a black mat or something, you can kind of see so our standards are a bit higher.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's interesting to anybody else, but I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Come by and take a tour.
It would be great to have some footage from inside the warehouse. I mean, I think you could use that anyways. I think that I've seen it.
Yeah.
And
Alex has a bunch of it.
So,
He used it for some of the testimonials we did at High Point, which I haven't shared with you, but they're awesome. Awesome.
oh, that's great.
I think you're gonna dig them. There's a few little refinements we're working on, but I'm pretty excited about them.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that you can get a testimonial with AI now.
Here's the CEO of Walmart talking about how impressed he is with classy art. Alex, let's get to work on that. Oh, geez.
So did you find something, or did you find things there that that will become part of the line
Yeah.
in 6 months, in a year, something?
Yeah, a lot. There's some new treatments that are being done that we hadn't seen. Lots of uses of fabrics and other materials, carpet even, like, on the canvases, and, so those are fun and, it adds more dimension and they're unique. It's on some great values that have, kinda that upscale look that we bring. It's like upscale without the upscale price tag. Uh, and so we found some great value lines um, that with the right direction can be excellent products. And so that's kind of the thing you see is like for the factories that have elevated looks, they have elevated prices. They know they look good, and it's purely design because you can find a lower end line that executes really well, like the lines are clean, the high gloss is perfectly straight, things like that, but they don't have the right imagery, or the imagery, like the nose is wrong or whatever. So they don't have that really keen eye of design like the more elevated factories. And so what we do is, I mean, we work with both obviously, but we'll work with those lower end factories and we will design, we will manipulate and change until it looks right. So like that's why that XL canvas is doing so well. I mean, our competition's 60-70% higher than us on that. And it's just because we utilized our lower end factory and did the product development from scratch.
Right.
And
So
now we're gonna have somebody who's full time working on that. So where it used to be, where do I get the time to do it? Now somebody that's her whole job. So I think it's gonna be great.
that sounds like a Walmart-ish thing. And when I say that, I mean, Walmart's sort of famous for helping their suppliers be more efficient so that, so that the Walmart customer can get a better price on something that's still quality. So it's like they're not just stripping stuff out of things to make them a cheaper price, that
Right.
they're really pushing and working with the manufacturers
Yep.
to get more efficient. So it kind of sounds like that's what you're doing too. You might be taking a lower end supplier and helping them
Yeah.
by assisting with the design part of it.
Yep. That's 100%. And it's not just the design of the product itself, it's the design of different elements, right? And so one of the struggles we came across a year or two ago was, that tempered glass with the default hardware it comes with is a bitch to hang. And so we created a new hardware system that is very simple and easy to use, right? And so we've been doing it that way for a very long time, but a couple years ago, we saw our hardware start showing up on our competitors' glass and other art vendors, and we're like, "Uh-uh," no. And we have no intellectual property rights on it, right? Like, we didn't patent it or anything, and you can't really. I actually did talk to my IP lawyer. I could just put patent pending, I can apply for the patent, and there's really no protection, it's just a preventative measure. But I just told my vendor, like, if I see my hardware on anybody else's glass, like, I'm gonna stop buying from you. And, one less customer, no big deal. No, we're 50% of that man's entire factory production. So, uh, it was refreshing walking his factory this time and seeing that shitty hardware on everybody else's glass. I mean, it's awful, man. It's awful. Like, it comes with these two metal things. So it has the metal plate and then like a horizontal hook with no sawtooth, just to place a metal like where it's pushed out. And then it comes with these two cleats that you have to put in the wall. So you have to put the cleats in the wall and then hang it on the cleats. But there's no margin for error. So the cleats have to be perfectly level and the perfectly distance apart from each other or it won't fit. And it's just ugh.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. So as a consumer, I get anxiety when it comes to hanging art. And the skateboards, classy art skateboards.
Oh, hey.
Shameless
Zoom
plug.
in. Zoom in.
Alex will have to do that.
It's called the deco art line is what we're calling it.
Deck, D-E-C-K. Deck.
DECKO because of the skate deck.
Skateboard deck. Yeah. It's clever.
Mhm.
Very clever. So that was easy to hang because it had the sawtooth at the top, real easy, hard to mess it up. So, but I get what you're saying. The pieces that I had before had little keyholes on each side.
Yeah.
And so
difficult.
like the spacing and then and I'm a pretty handy person when it comes to tools and levels and measuring.
That's what I read when I see pink shirt.
Don't let the shirt fool you. But I know my way around a wood shop. And so, and all of the stuff that goes with it. And we have upstairs a sort of gallery wall where all of the pictures are evenly spaced. There's a grid of 9 of them with the same space in between.
We'll have to get a picture of it for the
side to side and up and down. And I had it all figured out, all mathed out. I had everything measured very carefully. I'd marked, the walls, and I put the first row up and it was beautiful. And I put the second row up and it was off.
Yeah.
So, and it's just such an anxiety. The whole process of hanging art is so anxiety causing that I put it off. I just keep putting it off until eventually Bree says, this is what we're doing this weekend. So I think
invite your friend over for a change. I'd be glad to.
And we've got a handyman guy, and I would consider having him come in just so I didn't have to do it.
Absurd.
It is absurd.
I mean, I get it though. I get it. But think about it.
I can't be the only one. So if there's a way to demonstrate to the end consumer that this is easier than the alternative,
for sure. A comparison video would be great. Yeah, so we can do that. We need like a checklist of things to add in, so we can just get it for you when you're building the episode. But the consumer doesn't think that far in advance, so they're buying that art because they love it. Now, let's say you're buying this buffalo piece from one of Classy Art retail partners. You can't then go find that buffalo piece from some other place, right? So it's not going to have different hardware. It's not like they're going to find, the buffalo from Ashley and then find my buffalo and buy mine because it has better hardware.
Right.
And, that piece, whatever they're seeing speaks to them, they're going to buy it regardless. But where it does come into play is if you're a showroom designer, merchandiser, buyer, etc., and you're literally hanging hundreds of pieces of art, or it's part of your everyday job, it becomes very important. In fact, in one of the testimonials that we shot in High Point, one of the things she said was, I'm so glad that the hardware is always in the exact same spot on Classy Art, because as soon as they put a piece of glass art up, and their employees hate it because they get it out the box, they clean it and Windex and get it all nice. And she says it sells in 2 hours and they're all pissed off about it. but she's grateful that the hardware is in the same place every single time because they can just come and put a new one right back. So
Yeah.
for those people, it's super, super beneficial.
Well, yeah, I can see that, and I can appreciate what you're saying about people not caring about how it's hung. That happens in our family. You know, Bree sees something, she loves it. She just she knows that she'll figure it out. It doesn't matter how difficult it is to
Right.
hang. She'll
Because
figure
she's
it
just
out.
gonna make you do it.
Well, I mean, not even that's like she'll do it. She'll do it herself
Okay.
and she'll just figure it out. But I think about that. So like when she looks at something, then I'll think, oh man, I'm the one. I'm not the one. She would gladly do it. But if something was off a little bit, then I am so OCD that I would be looking at it all the time. Like, oh my gosh, this is a millimeter out
Yeah.
of square or something, so, but I do think about it as
Yeah.
we're looking at art and things. And we went to a big art festival last weekend. And it was so cool that we went back a second day to look at all of the art there. But clearly I didn't find anything that I like better than my 3 skateboards. So
There you go. But what are you gonna do? Like that one on the right's a little off.
it is not a little off.
It
It is not. I'll go get a level right now. It is dead. It is dead on. And the one on this side is exactly the same height as the one on that side. No laser level or any of that,
You
cool stuff.
but just based on your eyes. You just eyeballed it.
I just do this. They're like, that seems right. Yeah. Well, I was in the
Pause.
Murphy bed.
Hold on, let me pause. So, because that was a good break point. I don't think the front door is locked, and my daughter's out there. Will you just lock it? I think they're with her on that table. Okay.
Anywho. So, you forget that I was in the Murphy bed closet organizer business for the first 10 years.
No, how can I forget?
I keep bringing it up over and over again.
I've tried. Me and my therapist are working through it. Gift that keeps on giving, man.
So we did construction type stuff.
Yeah. Fixing the damages.
Often I had to do it. No, just like building the closet organizers.
What did you, like assembling it? What did you call it when the store gets something and they fix it?
Deluxing.
Which,
we just had a bit of an adventure last week as well. We went to Chicago and met with a client of ours who is a major retailer in that area.
Yeah.
And we got to see their warehouse, and he said deluxing as we were walking around the warehouse. And I thought, that's validation, but you weren't there to hear it. So it didn't matter.
He might have heard it. But no, I think that, I mean, you didn't make it up. That's what they call it.
Yeah. Somebody, I don't know where it came from, but
just this spin deluxing. You mean making it right?
And it is literally every piece. Everything has to come out of the box and get fixed before it gets delivered to the customer's house.
That's crazy.
It is really remarkable. And then, and customers, a lot like the retail shoppers, I think they would be appalled because they feel like we've bought this brand new thing and I don't want something that's been fixed. But every piece of furniture in your house has been fixed.
Yeah.
I mean, the odds of it not being fixed are close to zero.
Right.
And it's just the nature of the beast. This is big stuff. It's heavy. sometimes it has come from across the planet,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but even if it hasn't, it's come from Tupelo, Mississippi, and then it got delivered somewhere to a warehouse, and then it got put in a truck and taken to the store, and then it got brought to your house. You know, with all those people handling this
Yeah.
big, heavy stuff, it's bound to have something
Yeah,
that
for sure.
needs touching up.
It makes sense.
You know, it's
Except the art. It's
it
ready to
comes
hang
perfect
right out the
every time.
box.
Well, and I wouldn't want people to think less of their new stuff. It's no different than when you build a house and you have a punch list. You know, the house is brand new, but
But
there's always
uh,
something that needs a little attention, even though your house is brand new and
yeah,
everything's perfect.
that makes sense.
This is the same way. It's just big stuff. So I see Alex
I
scrolling
know.
through some
That was
concierge
I
footage.
think that was the testimonials.
Show that beautiful bean footage.
The beautiful bean footage. Oh, you want to throw it up?
No, I mean we can. That's why I put it on here, but we don't have to do it right now. It's up to you.
This is what I was watching when you called and I said you interrupted or
I don't know
something.
if you'll be able to hear it. Here, actually, no, you will, because I'll put it like this.
I haven't even seen this. I saw the first 30 seconds of it. So this is like a highlight reel.
This is new footage.
This is the highlight reel from High Point, and I'll shut up so we don't get the echo.
I'll actually just.
Oh, this is great. Really
Yeah, this is awesome.
well prepared.
Okay.
It's coming in all glitchy. Yeah.
Well, it's all right. I mean, it's neat to see it.
It'll be good. All right, let's remove. Sorry, Jamie. Next time.
Now we got to get rid of that echo. You're echoing.
Sounds good. It's like auto tune. Have you seen that that comedian who uses the echo and just works the crowd?
Yes,
He's
that's funny.
so funny. When I saw the first one that he made, the Ethan, and like that was the one that made him famous. And then later, like I don't know, 6 months, like however many, now he's all popular and famous. And Ethan was at another show and he saw him and brought him on stage, and that dude is hilarious.
That's a good one. I have seen the same comedian multiple times, and we were both. I often, when I'll go see a comedian, I'll try to hang out afterwards and take a picture with the comedian.
Mhm.
And I saw Michael Palasek, and on two different occasions, we were both wearing the same shirts, like
What?
a year apart.
Is that this guy's name or that's a different comedian?
No, that's the comedian. No, that's not the comedian
It's a
you're
different
talking
one.
about. It's just a guy that I have seen multiple times, and as it turns out, on two of the occasions, we were both wearing the same shirt.
Yeah, I know.
Not as each other as we were the previous year.
Oh, how do you even keep up with that?
Because I take a picture. I feel like I just explained this to
you. Don't scream at me, Joe. Tired, jet lagged. It's been a while since I've been reprimanded. Jesus.
I apologize for being aggressive with you.
No, it was deserved.
You earned it.
I kind of like it. All right. What's next?
Yeah. So we had a good market. We had a good market. We had a couple of great meetings. We've got a couple of, Tango's history has been in serving retailers. And it was a result of kind of seeing the advertising that Classy Art was doing that opened our eyes to, manufacturers need help too, with their advertising. And it's not just advertising in the industry publication. There's a lot of other things that manufacturers can do. And so our advertising relationship with Classy Art kind of started that for us. And the further we get down that road, the more we realize that people really need help. So we talked to several manufacturers at High Point, and it sounds like there's a few that want to work with us to help, not only help their retailers, but also just to help spread awareness about their own brands.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. Well, and tell me if I'm wrong, because this is purely an assumption based on kind of my experience in talking to other manufacturers. I would think that the manufacturers are less knowledgeable on like new age marketing and just kind of staying on top of what's the cutting edge. Like, they're doing things that they've done for 20 and 30 years. I mean, granted, retailers are too, right? Like we talk about the direct mail and the circular stuff, but I still remember where Jonathan and I, hired a bunch of cute girls to pass out flyers around High Point, and everybody's like, "You guys are marketing geniuses," and we're like, like, what are you talking about? Like, this is basic shit. So is that a fair assessment, or am I just off?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, like some of these people are not far removed from fax machines.
Jeez, yeah.
So
Whereas the retailers, I think, are, B2C business is significantly easier in the world of marketing and advertising. So, you can find all kinds of resources, tools, avenues, right? The B2B is trickier. You got to get
B2B
real
is,
creative.
yeah, B2B is trickier in some aspects because you don't want to appear or appeal necessarily to consumers. So it's very hard to limit your advertising to not showing to consumers and only hit the people that you want to hit. There are mechanisms for doing it. There's ways to get around that and to ensure that your advertising is, even if it's digital, the obvious thing would be hiring the cute girls and having them walk around market. That's where all of the buyers are. So, that is a low fidelity kind of advertising that works and you're hitting your target market. But that's not enough. That's a couple of days a year. And so when you start talking about the other types of advertising, which everybody's on their devices, I heard this quote, and I'm sure it's been around. I'm not, this is not new to a lot of people, but it was, we spend all day looking at our medium-sized screen so that in the evening we can look at our small screen while we've got our large screen on, or something along those lines, which
That's
is
pretty funny.
And it's exactly what happens in our house. The TV is running, but at the same time that we're watching this show on TV, we're both also on our phones.
Yeah.
So it's just screens all the time, but so anyways, yes, the manufacturers are the same as the retailers. Some of them are super advanced and they understand it all. And, they're light years beyond, and it's not necessarily the ones you think. It's not the ones with the most money that are the most advanced. So I think that's kind of an interesting thing too. And it's not the ones that are most advanced with their design or the ones that have the slickest looking marketing people in their company.
So if you have to kind of find similarities, what is it? Are they younger? Are they just more motivated? Or are they educating themselves more? Like, what's the commonality? But
I think it's just having a marketing mindset. Like you and Jonathan have. You sort of have a mind for marketing, and some manufacturers are just like they're great at making sofas.
mm-hmm.
And making them efficient. And they probably could tell you how many staples are in every sofa and how many pieces of wood and what the thickness
Yeah.
is. And they're so engrossed in that the marketing is an afterthought. It's something that they're aware that they have to do, but they don't enjoy it. It
Do
gets
you find that, like, do you find it easier to work with somebody who has no knowledge because they need you more, or somebody that has more knowledge because they understand you more?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
And it really depends. There's there's a middle ground in that where somebody thinks they know a lot because they watch the podcasts, or the webinars, and they are aware of the buzzwords, and those are the most dangerous of the marketing world. And a lot of the information that's out there is designed for much bigger, much more sophisticated operations. So in our world, the articles that come out about marketing often are not applicable to the furniture industry. So, and the buzzwords don't work for us. So that's kind of where it's most dangerous for us, is when somebody is a little bit aware of, the key phrases
They
and
think they
stuff like
got it.
that. They think they got it, and they don't. And then we end up spending a lot of time explaining why it's not that way.
Because it's harder to explain it to them because they think they know.
Right. Right. And
And
so,
if that is what you consider dangerous, I just think maybe you need to get out more. Maybe shall we do the hot air balloon thing, or like run with the bulls? Because that just doesn't feel so dangerous to me. But I mean, suburbia dad over there.
danger's my middle name, but you spell it differently than danger.
But
So,
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
the spectrum that works well for us is the people that know nothing and the people that know a whole lot.
Right.
Because then you can talk to them on a different level, and you can get into really interesting conversations and strategy.
Yeah. So the further on both ends, the better. But I would imagine that the people who don't understand any of it can also be difficult too, because in that side of the spectrum, there's a fork. There's definitely a branch where I don't know it, I don't understand it, get the fuck away from me. And then there's the I don't know what I need. I know I need it. Come help me.
Yeah, yeah, and I draw parallels often to personal training, exercise. So the person who doesn't know anything walks into a gym, and they don't have any bad habits. They don't have any misconceptions about what to expect, and they're sort of that malleable, um, where you can kind of bring them in and teach them the right way. And then the expert lifter, the bodybuilder, they know they've got it dialed in. And so you can get into really sophisticated conversations with them about the nuances of what they're doing with their workout routine.
Yeah.
And then the danger zone is the person who's watched a few YouTube videos about lifting, and they follow a couple of influencers who may just be hot and not have any experience. Like I want to see the fat guy who was always fat and has become ripped. Like that's the guy I want the advice from. I don't want it from the guy who's been ripped most of his life and then he got fat for a little while and he got back to ripped again. Like it's too easy for that.
Yeah.
And so, and another way, like we use this comparison to exercise often in advertising. You will hear that you should walk 30 minutes a day. You should walk, you should do something 30 minutes a day. Walking 30 minutes a day is not going to make you fit if you're fat. And the reason that often comes up as a kind of a first thing is because you can't take somebody who's not doing anything and get them to go spend an hour in the gym and start eating right and doing all of these things that it really takes. So what you accept is the minimum amount that they will do and that they're willing to commit to consistently, with the hope that you get them walking for 30 minutes a day, and then you can move on to, now let's pick up a weight from time to time. And you so even though that that's not going to change their fitness or it's not going to change their physique, you kind of start there just because it's the thing that they're willing to do. We end up having to do that in advertising too.
Yeah.
You start with the thing that they're willing to do.
And then you grow up from there. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So we're still working on that with you. We just got to get you used to walking.
Okay.
I think that dentists should sell self-tanning cream.
I was wondering where the fuck this was gonna go. Okay.
I think your teeth look whiter
if
when
you
your
tan.
face is tanner.
Yeah.
Regardless of how white your teeth actually are.
It's a better move. It's an easier sell. Just lay here for a minute. Are you still tan? Have you tanned since market?
Yeah. I went back on Monday.
You know, it's funny because when we were setting up and we were FaceTiming, you had the phone up and I was talking about looking up your nice nostrils. I almost said to you, your teeth look really great.
That's what I'm seeing it.
I almost said that. And so you haven't whitened your teeth. You've just gotten browner.
I've just gotten brown and it's excessive. I went too far. I am. It doesn't come across on camera, but I am Oompa Loompa right now. It's bad.
I can't wait to stitch in an Oompa Loompa.
It's bad.
Alex, do we have filters? Can we make him an Oompa Loompa? Oh, come on. We got to learn it. We got to do this.
So I went on Monday. So, all right. I enjoyed the tanning process. So I did it before market to kind of see. I've never done the tanning thing before. I've always lived in Florida and I was always kind of a little bit tan. So now I'm in Chattanooga. I'm not as tan. So I did it to kind of see what it was like. I'm getting married later this year and I want to be tan for the wedding. So I'm kind of feeling out the process now. So I'm becoming addicted to it. So on Monday, I went back for another spray tan and I was orange. Like it does, and it's not immediate. When you walk out of there, you're regular color.
Yeah.
And then through the course of the day, you just turn more and more orange. Yes. It's so accurate. It is so accurate.
Oh, that's good.
There is no way. That is exactly what I look like. There's no way He is not spray tanning. He is, I can tell you what he's doing. He's going to Suntan City and he's getting the clear spray with a medium tint. I have the formula.
Oh my God, that was funny. That's good teamwork. That's good teamwork.
So absolutely over the top on the tan. But now it's
toned
every
down.
day it's a little bit better than the day before.
And is it staying brown, just losing the orange, or is it just fading?
I think both. I think it's still in person. It's still a little orange, and these lights affect it some. So, but and then it does also fade a little bit each day. But it makes your teeth whiter.
Your teeth are white.
And I'm getting, and I get compliments. So the lady at the check-in at the hotel last week said, "Your teeth are so nice." And when I'm not overly tan, I don't get compliments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. I guess I gotta go tan, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
wasting my time whitening my damn teeth.
If you're about that life.
Hashtag tan life.
I felt like the tan mom. Do you remember that internet sensation, the tan mom?
No.
I don't remember what she was famous for other than being excessively tan. That's her. There you go.
Oh my God.
That was probably 15 or 20 years ago. She was
jeez.
Somehow she got on the meme circuit. But yeah.
Good Lord. Please stop, Joe. This is this is a big joke. We're not actually shooting a podcast. We're here for an intervention.
There's so many things. There's so
many people that love you, Joe. Just say no.
I appreciate it. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here for me.
Everybody watching, the whole world is here for you, Joe.
Yeah. All right. All of our podcast viewers.
All two. Thanks, Molly and David Larkin. We're tricking people to join us and we get a viewer.
Well, and we get the spouses too. So we get
spouse.
Well, Dan is a spouse.
Oh yeah.
He's close enough.
Well, yeah, I thought you meant our spouses.
Oh.
But you get Norma and David, Dan. Yeah.
I would bet that Norma has more social media than David.
Well, all you have to do is have an email address and you have more social media than David. I'm kidding, David. I love you, buddy. I had to take a shot.
Oh, you're acting like he's going to see this.
Oh, shit.
My dad did watch the David Larkin episode.
Oh, what did he think?
He was very interested. Yeah, and he said it was good. It was interesting. He knew David in 1976.
Yeah, and I was gonna say David called him out.
Yeah, he sold to the company my dad worked for, and David and I talked for about 30 minutes one afternoon after the podcast, and he talked about my dad working there a lot, and how they worked together in the early days, and he was very complimentary of that whole thing. And my dad also was, like David's such a professional. And I don't like saying David. Mr. Larkin is such a professional.
Yeah.
And in the notes, in the show notes, which I'm not great at writing, but I only referred to him as Mr. Larkin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the notes to the podcast.
Yeah.
Do you notice any of that? Like I'm writing a little paragraph or a couple paragraphs of a
It's been a while since I've looked at it. I mean, if I have a thought, I'll go in and add or whatever. And then if I see something new, I'll take a gander, but I'm not going through the whole thing. Or I'll see hey, we had this person on, move that to the bottom, or little things like that. But I haven't been on in quite. I mean, I've been High Point in China, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't blame you.
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
but
So
we've talked about having both of our fathers on.
yeah,
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I think we should do that. We will do that
Yeah,
at some point. Maybe not together, or maybe together.
maybe together. I think it's
Yeah, we could
be fun.
have them on and say, "What are you most ashamed of about your sons?"
That'd be fun. The good news is Isaac is such a social media whore that we're gonna have lots of followers after that. Like, he's gonna be posting every day, leading up to the day of, several days after.
Isaac is Gabe's father.
Mm-hmm.
And you often refer to him as Isaac, which I
Mhm.
rarely refer to my dad by his name. Mac is my dad's name.
Mac.
So I rarely refer to him as that, but you often say Isaac. And so much so that in the early days of our friendship, I wasn't really sure he was your dad because you didn't say my dad, you would say Isaac. And so where did that come from?
I don't know. I have no idea. And I think maybe there's a bit of like professionalism and, coming in as young as we were in the industry. Like, I didn't, you, how old this industry is, like, especially 20 years ago, right?
Yeah,
Like,
the industry skews old. So it's full
yeah,
of old dudes.
right. And I'm 26, 24, something like that, coming in as a CEO, commanding respect from all these guys who've been doing it all their life. And so, you can't run around the showroom. Hey, daddy, can I have $50 to take this client to dinner?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that or if it was just a funny thing. I think there's kind of a lot of pieces. Jonathan will do it too. I mean, I still call him dad a lot, most of the time, but
Well, and so outside of work, do you call him Isaac or do you call him dad?
kind of both.
Oh, so even outside of work,
Both. Yeah.
yeah.
But we also have lots of pet names for each other. So he calls me asshole and I call him same. So, I mean, he means I love you. You're so sweet, but it's same.
He calls you the disappointment.
Yeah, he just
He's got a
mispronounces the love of my life wrong. It's good. Israeli accent,
He's got a lot to be proud of.
No, but I remember and we'll go back and forth. Bye, asshole. Love you, asshole. Or he'll walk out. He's like, hey, don't forget, you're the biggest
Which
asshole.
means
Like, this will happen in the office, in front of all the staff and everything. But
that's so funny.
yeah.
That's
But
cool.
it's all fun and games, as you know, and for the viewers out there that don't know me or my father or my brother, there's no three men closer than we are. I mean, you can't imagine the relationship we have. So we talk shit, but that's what men do, right? And so I think a lot of women don't necessarily understand that, but it is absolutely terms of endearment for all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, look at me and Joe talking shit about each other all the time, and we're best friends. That it really is a love language for men.
Yeah, I'm the same with my brothers. We rip on each other all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the term of endearment, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad, when I started having kids, my dad said, I want to dictate what I'm called by these grandkids.
That's fair.
I don't want to be peepaw or like some silly sounding thing. He's like, I want to dictate what I'm called.
What'd he come up with?
Granddad. He's like, I want to be granddad. I don't want to be grandpa or Hopi or
and did it work?
Yeah, it worked. So he is granddad to this day. He's granddad. And so I am, as my kids are getting older and to the age where they might start having kids, I want to do the same thing. Like that worked for him. But I think I want my grandkids to call me Joe. I think I want them to call me by my name because I just something about that seems funny to me. Like little toddlers running around saying, Joe, hey, Joe, you know, like.
Well, I think of grandpa when I think of Joe. I think it works. It's a great grandpa name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you know your dad's logic? Why granddad? Because that's a mouthful.
Just because it was, you know, he didn't say specifically that it's sophisticated or it, you know, is anything else other than, I think he just liked the way that it sounded. And so we started right from, you know, the beginning. And my parents were divorced and my kids' mother's parents were divorced. So there were 4 grandfathers.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You know, and 4 grandmothers. So, and there are nuances. Like we had grandpa and grandpa, and the kids knew the difference. If you just by that, you know, like same basic word. And we had Nana and Nana, same spelling, same basic thing. And the kids knew if you know, to this day, if you say Nana said this or Nana said that, they know which one you're talking about.
So my kids attached the names of their grandparents' pets. So my parents were their grandpa and grandma Rink because that was the name of their dog, grandma and grandma Rink. And my ex-wives were it was grandma and grandma, grandpa and grandma, and I forgot the name of their pet at the time.
Killer.
No, Yellow. Yellow? I can't remember. No, that was her dog. But that's what it was. They had the dog's name at the attach. It wasn't Grandma and Grandpa Cohen or Grandma and Grandpa Guzman. It was kind of funny.
Based off of the dog. Yeah, that is funny. Especially when, you know, the dogs die.
Yeah, they're not, none of them are here. Especially at their families. They die like every 2 years.
Whoa.
So, they're not good. I don't know why they keep getting animals. They need to stop. I mean, they need to stop.
I think that's a good place for us to wrap it up today.
Yeah, let's end it while we're behind.
Yeah. So listen, man, pleasure. I'm glad to have you back in America.
Yeah, it's good to be back on American soil. Thanks everybody for joining us for our 6th episode of Two Homeboys.
Yeah, we appreciate you. It's good to see y'all again.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, circled back. All right, man.
All right, dude. Well, that was nice because we were able to pick the best sellers and things like that. What you found was,
bitch, I can see you falling asleep while I'm telling my story.
I'm not falling asleep. Look, just try it.